Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is the 11th Minisode of Season 4. As we discussed in Minisode 10, the NCAA plans to vote sometime in the next few weeks on their new rules for the commercial use of a student-athlete's name, image, and likeness, or NIL for short. But what exactly are those new rules? I wanted to wait to talk in depth about them until we knew which set of rules the NCAA was actually going to vote on. Given the delayed vote in January, the NCAA's hope for federal legislation, and the outstanding verdict from the Supreme Court on NCAA versus Alston, it isn't hard to see why there has been so much uncertainty. Now that we know that the NCAA is moving forward with their vote before the end of June, we can look at what the rules allow and what they prohibit. Today, we examine what the rules allow. The new rules cover two categories of NIL commercial activity. The first category is allowing college athletes to make brand deals. This includes both traditional brand endorsements and advertising, such as appearing on a billboard or on a TV commercial. At the end of the day, this means that the student athletes can finally do as any other college student can, promote products on social media networks, including both Instagram and YouTube. And there's a crossover between the traditional brand deals and social media. For example, we'll very likely see endorsement deals that require student athletes to use the product around campus and to document it on social media as well. A sort of guerrilla marketing when you think about it. There are lots of possibilities beyond traditional social media because college campuses are their own world, where these athletes are influencers both in real life to their fellow students and on social media to the rest of their followers and fans. The second category of NIL covered activity relates to compensation for work product or business activities. Let me break that apart because that includes several things. First, student athletes can receive compensation from third parties, meaning not the college or anybody related to the college, for social media content creation and distribution. Second, student athletes can use their own NIL to promote their own businesses, such as a summer sports camp. Also, college athletes could create and sell their own merch and promote it on their social media. Third, college athletes can be compensated by third parties for personal promotional activities such as appearances at events or autograph signings. Of course, this all sounds great, but there are caveats. There are two major limitations worth noting now since they apply to everywhere under the new rules. First, the schools and conferences cannot arrange or facilitate brand deals or business opportunities for the student athlete, including through booster clubs or other related groups. Second, the student cannot use the intellectual property of their school when they do monetize their NIL. This means that students can't wear their uniforms, for example, or use any of the university's logo or other trademarks in sponsored posts. Next minisode, we'll discuss the limitations in what the NCAA calls, quote, guardrails in more depth as we go into more detail on what the rules say you cannot do. Until then, if you're a student athlete, start designing your new line of merch.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.